This video is on brief overview of the National Council for the Social Studies, or NCSS. I'll go over the vision, the definition, and some of the categories. I also will address a brief course in history, as well as some overarching functions of the teaching profession. So we'll talk about the importance of providing effective instruction to students by preparing for each learning experience, providing supplemental material to enhance textbooks and lessons, and using effective evaluation methods in order to measure student performance. Concerning the Department of the Humanities, we will exhibit knowledge of principles and procedures of academic and institutional program development in history, current research, developments and resources in historical research, and federal, state, and local laws, codes, and regulations as they relate to students and teaching. We will have 5 abilities. First, to create effective instruction for presentation, to communicate effectively and concisely, oral and in writing, work effectively within the assigned department and cross-functionally across other departments, and interpret and apply goals, policies, and procedures, as well as maintain what is relevant in relation to instruction. And the course would address 6 periods in the study of history, with key focus of study from the mid-15th century to the present. The essential standards and clarifying objectives of the course have been written in order to focus around a basic core of chronologically organized periods and events in history, in order to have a set of objectives that can be reasonably taught with some depth and not just memorization of facts, topics, and events. We will understand the creation and development of societies, nations, and civilizations over time, as well as their impact. We will identify the structure of a historical narrative. We will present and create timelines. We will reconstruct the literal meaning of a historical text. We will distinguish fact from fiction. We will differentiate between historical facts and historical interpretation, or hermeneutics. We will analyze data in historical cartography. We will identify problems of the past, consider multiple perspectives of various peoples and cultures geographically around the globe. We will analyze historical probability and method, cause and effect, multiple causation, competing historical views and debates among historians, and how the past indirectly and or directly influences the present time and issues. Formulate historical questions. We will obtain historical data and analyze and evaluate our sources. We will support interpretation only with historical evidence, and construct an analytical essay using historical evidence in order to support arguments, as well as understanding how to form and write a basic argument. Concerning the National Council for the Social Studies, NCSS, their vision is a world in which all students are educated and inspired for lifelong inquiry and informed civic action. The definition is the study of individuals, communities, and systems, their interactions across time and space. The disciplines of social studies include history, including all local and state history, United States history, world history, and global studies, and other courses about specific groups, regions, and eras. Geography would include physical, environmental, cultural, and human geography, as well as courses related to the application of GPS and GIS. Economics would cover macroeconomics, microeconomics, and international economics. Government and citizenship, or civics, includes civics as well. Political science, local, state, tribal, United States government, international relations, comparative government, and law. Social sciences would include anthropology, archaeology, gender studies, LGBTQ+ studies, psychology, religion, and sociology. Ethnic studies would include African American, Asian American, and Pacific Islander studies, indigenous studies in general, and Latin American studies. Human rights and social justice would include human rights, social justice issues, international organizations, and genocide studies. Financial literacy would include personal finance, philosophy and logic, as another category, and then contemporary issues, including current events in journalism and social studies in current contexts. Considering human diversity, human equity, and human inclusion. Human diversity is the acknowledgement, acceptance, and appreciation of human differences from a broad range of characteristics and traits, including but not limited to race, gender, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, language, religion, disability and ability, age, national origin, ethnicity, or political perspectives. Human equity is creating and enacting policies, educational practices, and attitudes that ensure equitable power, access, opportunities, and overall outcomes for all. Human inclusion is a shared decision-making by intentionally welcoming the diversity of human beings and their agency and experiences. Concerning the topic of teaching history and philosophy to students, there are 12 themes that I say that are found throughout history. Students will react to thoughts and ideas and the historical evolution of philosophy and history, and more often than not, their current views and perspective and inclinations have been largely determined extensively by the century in which they live, the culture and region in which they participate, and the civilization in which they happen to experience. Certain concepts that are taught are often rejected by many who have been indoctrinated by falsities rather than facts. In history, however, I have sought to identify the disciplines or themes of history that are pertinent for constituting a 21st century view and knowledge of reality, and they are 12 in number. I have listed them first to last, depending upon the knowledge they're in, and one could say an opinion of importance thereof for civilization. Politics and government, language, writing and reading, science, technology and industries, education, history, philosophy, art, music, culture, and religion. Each of these categories constitute a vast array of history concerning knowledge, and when studied as a synthesis of the arts and sciences, give a more well-trained and well-educated mind for humanity. As you know, Kant had 12 categories, as well as Aristotle. From bipedalism, the biosphere and beyond, humankind has made outstanding achievements in time and space, including its own emergence into a being of historical capability and capacity. It has taken our genus 7 million years to develop speech and language, grammar and syntax, writing systems and scripts, telecommunications, the internet, and explorations beyond our planet. A comprehensive study of our species, including its many developments, both prehistorically and historically, and the different phenomenon and themes that constitute different cultures and civilizations, we will make the attempt to interpret the different cultures based on their material remains within prehistorical and historical contexts. We will analyze similarities and differences between geographically dislocated cities and empires, identify the religious and philosophical dimensions of the culture, the science and technology of the cultures, the art and architecture of the cultures, the languages, literatures, writings of historical merit, politics and governments, economic and social characteristics of these cultures and civilizations, in order to better understand a most broad panorama of human experience through the struggle of obtaining continuity in a world of change.